All right, hello, it is 9:30. Welcome to today's weather update. We are going to mainly talk about Ida, of course, but we also have other breaking news that occurred. Power problems now in our area. That's right. This happened in the city, and yes, a transformer exploded at a substation in Long Island City that actually caused a voltage disturbance in the entire metropolitan area. Yes, the power flickered here too as well. I noticed a very small flicker going on. So this is what's going on. We had power went back out. So there was a power surge in Manhattan. This might have affected the subways. What the hell is going on today? Let's see. Oh yeah, of course. We'll have to go to, because Twitter wants to be a pain in the ass. Let's go to MTA info and see if the subways are being affected by this at all. We have a whole suspension of service here. A power surge that affected much of New York City. There was a power surge in the city. Very limited subway service right now. Let me get back to this. So we have a lot of subway service suspended in the city right now that is affecting things right now. So power outages, power surges in the city right now. There's a whole thread on Reddit, and I noticed that I'm like, what the heck? It just popped up in my feed. Like, where I got to focus on this hurricane here. Yes, the power is completely out of New Orleans. The transmission system is completely down. Unsurprisingly, the unconfirmed reports that at least one of the power transmission towers has collapsed in New Orleans. Let's go to the radar right now. We take a look at the latest on where this is. So the good news is for New Orleans, in the next couple hours, the heavy rain and the wind should taper off. This is the current radar right now. Let me loop this. We had you can see it's tracking off to the west of New Orleans now, but still it's moving so slow. Let's get to the latest from the National Hurricane Center on Ida right now. Latest public advisory as of 7 p.m. Oh, that's the latest. I think there's a more recent one than that. I'm pretty sure there's a more recent one than that. 7 p.m. Central Daylight. Well, this is the one I read to you before. So, no sense reading it again and wasting your time. That is the latest advisory that they have posted right now. Let's go look at the satellite. And you can see it moving inland and starting to weaken. And moving west of New Orleans here. But New Orleans is in this heavy rain and wind. And they've been getting pounded with this heavy rain and wind. So let's go to the observations here. Weather and hazards map. We'll get to our area. Let's get this out of the way first. All right. Let's look and see what the conditions are here. And you can still see wind gusts over hurricane force in this area. I wish I could get the latest here. We had 90-mile-an-hour wind gusts right here at New Orleans International Airport right there. So that's quite a strong wind gust, and these winds are just very high, and there's been structural damage. There's been some structures damaged. There are some areas of New Orleans that don't have water because so many trees uprooted it disturbed the water lines. Let's go look at the precipitation right now and see how much rain has fallen since this whole thing started. Look at that. So here you go, 8. Got 8.58 at this area here. So these are the kind of rainfall amounts that you're going to be dealing with here. Already over 5 inches in many parts of the city, and it's still raining, and it's going to be raining for at least a couple more hours, and that's the concern. The water is still going to be coming. Will the pumps keep up, especially now with the limited power supply? Right now, they're just having rainwater flooding in the city, but we saw what happened with Katrina. We looked like, it was holding up, and then all of a sudden, it just failed catastrophically. So let's go to our area here. We'll briefly go over our weather, and then I want to get back to Ida because that is the main story right now. And we're just going to go over and we're not getting observations. Let's get some observations here. So it was just a cloudy, murky day. Some breaks of sun. It is humid out there. You'll see those dew points around 70 degrees now. Definitely feeling that humidity increase throughout the day. And looking at our satellite, you can still see plenty of clouds around. We're going to be dealing with those clouds right through tomorrow. Let's go to the models here, and we'll just briefly go over our weather for tomorrow, and then I want to get right back to Ida, all right, because that is the main thing that we are talking about tonight. So the HRRR model here, looks like we may still have a stray shower overnight. Tomorrow should be dry, but then in the evening we may see some showers from a little front that might try to pass through in the evening. Could be some showers, maybe even some thunderstorms with that. Tomorrow is going to be a lot warmer than today. If we look at the high temperatures for tomorrow, well, actually the HRRR seems to have backed off. A little hotter in Jersey, but I'm thinking that indicates that we're going to have more of a sea breeze. So mid-80s, maybe low 80s on Long Island, closer to 90 in Jersey. The humidity stays high. Yeah, we're going to have those south-southwest winds, so that's going to help give us that ocean influence that'll keep us a little cooler. Let's go to the skies. And I will go to the, I can use the NAM for the skies. That's fine. And see, tomorrow we will have some sun possibly in the afternoon. Perhaps a little sun. A little more than today. Today we didn't have anything. It was very cloudy all day long. So maybe a little more sun tomorrow. Let me look at the GFS. So here's the GFS. And you can see maybe a little more sun in the afternoon. Perhaps. Let's see what the high temperatures are for tomorrow here on this GFS temperature. So again, similar idea that the warmth it won't be too brutal tomorrow, but you're going to feel that humidity. Sure. The humidity is definitely going to be with us, and that slight chance of showers and maybe thunderstorms. But let's get back to Ida right now. I figured let me get that out of the way. We got to get back to Ida. So let's get back to Ida. And here you go. Here is Ida again, and you can see that heavy rain. Looks like some of these towns here, LaPlace, really getting hammered with that eye wall. I really would like to get the latest from the Hurricane Center because I know that's not the most recent statement. Look, they have the 4 p.m. up here. What is going on with this site? They can't freaking update the site properly. You have to go to Twitter to get a freaking statement again? Network issues. You should fix those network issues. Let's get the latest from the Hurricane Center here. Now 15A, inland over, or let's see if we can get the link. It's just going to take me back to this again. I guess that is the latest observation. So it's moving northwest at 10 miles an hour. It's slowed down a lot. But it's still 120 mile an hour maximum sustained winds, minimum central pressure. So this is the latest advisory. I guess that's the latest advisory we have. Okay. So location 29.9 north, 90.5 west, 25 miles west southwest of New Orleans. I already read that already. And an observation station recently reported a minimum pressure of 945 millibars to 7.91 inches. That is quite deep. That is extremely deep. So very deep storm. And this storm is just continuing to churn ever so slowly and just move so slowly across. Let's go to some observations again from that area. Of course, the area remains under a hurricane warning, extreme wind warning, all that stuff. I still see some tornado warnings up here as well. You can see some of the stronger winds getting now into the northern part of the lake. Gust to 90, that's still New Orleans International Airport right there. We got a gust to 73 in Donvale. Gust to 74 at Louisiana Regional Airport. 55 mile an hour gust at Plaquemine. And we're starting to see those winds now. Baton Rouge now, 52 mile an hour wind gust. So Baton Rouge is now starting to get into these very strong winds as well. 71 mile an hour wind gust at Shell Beach. So the winds are still going. And look, you can go far east. Keesler Air Force Base, Biloxi, 45 mile an hour wind gust. A 58 mile an hour wind gust at Big Bay Waveland Yacht Club. So these are the kind of winds that are going in Louisiana right now. It's just the storm is still ongoing, and there's still, like I said, complete power loss in. Let me go here. New Orleans Energy. So let's just refresh this here. Get the latest on this. And so power is out to nearly all. Catastrophic transmission damage. And you can see no power in New Orleans. They've lost all 3 feeder lines. Catastrophic damage occurred just after 7 p.m. in New Orleans right now. Let's go up to the top here. We can. So, oh, there you go. Wow. That's amazing. Is that New Orleans? That doesn't look like New Orleans. That looks like New York City. That's not. There's a lightning bolt. That's not New Orleans. That's definitely not New Orleans. That looks like New York City, and it looks like some kind of fake GIF image. But yeah, power outage right now. All of catastrophic damage here. Knocked out power to the entire city of Louisiana. I mean, the entire city of New Orleans here is without power. This is all we have here. Category 4 storm hit the same day Hurricane Katrina ravaged Louisiana and Mississippi. The rising water swamped Grand Isle, and the landfall was actually just west at Port Fourchon. And that is a major oil processing facility. So that's going to affect the oil supply. It's the reason why we shouldn't be relying on fossil fuels. As if the hurricane isn't enough of a reminder. So the entire city of New Orleans late Sunday was without power. The energy company Entergy confirmed that the only power in the city was coming from generators. Catastrophic. The message included a screenshot that cited catastrophic transmission damage for the power failure. This is, and there is a negative flow on the Mississippi River. This is what's going on right now in New Orleans, and is you got to worry about the hospitals. The hospitals are full because of the pandemic, obviously, because their vaccination rate was so low. And Homa, also a city, also in trouble as well. So this is what is going on here, and we're going to go to maps right now, and I'm going to show you. We still got this problem too, by the way. The power system in the city now having problems. So let's go to that. This is just all right. We're gonna go New York City now. Now we're gonna figure out what's going on in New York City, because now we have our own power problems now that are going on with the power outage here. NYC subway. We gotta figure out NYC subway here. NYC subway, and here we go. NYC Power Surge. That comes up on all of NYC. So apparently Queens got a power surge. Subway being affected. Major Con Ed surge affecting the entire IRT. They had a power surge in Brooklyn, and we also had it here. I mean, my lights kind of literally, they brightened and they darkened. It was very short. It lasted for a split second. It did seem to affect us here on Long Island as well. So there's a huge problem going on with the power grid. Again, here we have a power grid problem here too as well. And there you go, explosion. This could have been a blackout. Luckily, it didn't happen. But this is another problem that we have. We have no storms in the area. We don't know what happened. But apparently this happened at Long Island City. So let's go to the maps right now and look at this here. Long Island City. If you live on Long Island and experience this power surge, let me know. Let's go Long Island City here. There's a big Con Ed switch yard over here. This is probably where it happened. I can only imagine. It's a huge Con Ed switch yard, and it probably caused a surge in a lot of the systems. Probably a loss of a feeder or something. Something blew, obviously. So that caused a huge explosion. Now, let's get back to what's going on in New Orleans with their power grid. Obviously, their power grid has been compromised from the storm. So let's look at that. And you can see these are the feeder lines that come into the city here. Yeah, they're above ground. They're not buried. For whatever reason, they don't bury their transmission lines within the city. These are metal towers, but still, I mean, you could have a piece of debris go flying into this. Having such tall transmission structures next to buildings where stuff could fly off of, not very smart. They really should try to bury these. They should have done it after Katrina, but they didn't. You can see there is a substation here that's one of the substations that serves the city. And then you have some pretty high metal lattice towers also coming out of the city. So you have these metal lattice towers here. Here's an example. So maybe one of these got compromised. There was a rumor that one of them collapsed and fell into the river. So that is just a rumor. But that could have caused, again, there are only a couple of feeder lines that go into New Orleans. That's one of them. And then there's a huge substation down here. This whole area right here, there are there's a big substation. Let's get this to display here. So this is more of a weather, but also a power grid update. So this is the substation here that is probably knocked offline. These are one of the feeders that come to the city here. Again, these don't look too hot. They are metal, but honestly, they look like they've seen better days, and they should have been replaced. And so they have two of these separate. This is probably probably it could be 138, 230. I don't think it's 138. I think it's 230 kV. And this goes through, and this leaves the city going on down various streets. And again, you have this, and then you have 9 Mile Point, which is across the river here, which is down here. There's another big power plant called 9 Mile Point. And we can look it up right here, 9 Mile Point, which is, it's over here. And they have a big power plant over here that, there are power plants close to the city, but again, if these lines go down, the power plants there's no load at the other end. They'll go into automatic shutdown. And so that is going to make it even harder to restore power, let alone fixing these broken transmission structures. So here they are. And these metal lattice ones, not as strong as the other kind, so I'm concerned that maybe some of these could have gone down as well. So you see catastrophic transmission damage. You see what that would entail and how long that is going to take to fix. And again, this is the power right away that leaves that station and heads south, and then rejoins a bigger power right away here. You can see that's a pretty big conglomeration of transmission lines there. But they don't all go to the city. They go to other parts of Louisiana. And that's looking south here. So this goes south, and it's a big power right away, pretty much going through this area right here, which you'll be able to see in a minute. So here is some of the power right away here going through. And again, this goes to other areas of Louisiana, not just New Orleans. But this kind of storms will cause transmission line damage when you have 100+ mile-an-hour winds. We don't know exactly where the failure is, but the point is that they cannot reclose any of the transmission circuits that are serving New Orleans right now, so there's no power to the city, which is bad enough in itself, but that power is used to power a lot of pumps to keep the city dry. So if they don't, and they have backup power, but it's not enough to power all the pumps. So the question is, are they going to be able to hold back the water, or are we going to see a repeat of what happened in Katrina? Let's hope it doesn't come to that, but honestly, it wouldn't surprise me. So it's not over by a long shot. Still, the storm is lashing New Orleans, and you got to remember, now the wind is coming. Now that the storm is over here, the wind is going to be coming from the south, so they have to worry about the Gulf of Mexico getting closer and closer to New Orleans, and you got to remember pushing in also into the lakes as well. And then you got all the rainfall. So if they can keep the water out of New Orleans, it'll be a miracle tonight. And let's hope and pray they do. But without the power, it's going to be a challenge. And Entergy does not know when that power is going to be back up again. So let's just revisit again to the Hurricane Center. They're not going to have another update. Let's go look at the radar here one more time. And you can see it is moving away from New Orleans, which is good, but the rain is still coming down. And if we look at this, you'll still see plenty of feeder bands. So it's gonna be raining for at least probably at least another 4 to 5 hours. And you see this thing is moving really slow. It's making its turn more to the north, and that means it's slowing down. And that's the other thing that we have to watch out for as well with this. So let's go to a few more models here, and we're going to actually see how much more rain could fall in New Orleans. Look at the precipitation here, and we have the HRRR. Do we have the HRRR? Let's look at the HRRR, because that is the short-range model. The 0Z HRRR, and let's see how much more rain could fall here. Total accumulated precip, and yeah, it's still showing it could be another 5 to 6 inches of rain, perhaps. And then that rain is going to make its way inland further up into Louisiana and then Mississippi as well tomorrow. The storm is still going to cause impacts. It's still going to be knocking out power as it makes its way in. We are still dealing with a hurricane in every sense of the word right now. I'd like a more recent update from the Hurricane Center on this. But the latest advisory is 7 p.m. That is the latest that we have. It is probably going to be it's probably still going to be a hurricane into tomorrow morning, and then it should slowly weaken into a tropical storm as we get later into the morning, into the afternoon tomorrow. But this thing is going to be knocking out power and causing problems as it's moving inland for quite a while. When we look at the warning cone, you'll see the Hurricane Center still has it as a hurricane, even as it makes its way and crosses into Mississippi, and then it finally weakens to a tropical storm by tomorrow afternoon, and then a tropical depression. And then we have to worry about the remnants later on, and we're going to get to talking about that tomorrow night. But that is going to wrap up this weather update again. We have our own problems now with the power grid causing power surges. The railroad is not being affected so far. Let's see if the railroad is having any delays. No delays on the railroad, but it is affecting the subway. We still have a lot of service suspensions going on with this power surge in the city. On top of everything else going on today, it's just a crazy day. What can I say? I hope you were all safe. Have a good night, and we got to pray for everybody down in New Orleans and Louisiana that they make it through the storm and survive, because being without power is one thing, but no power means no pumps. It means no water. It means no city services, and they don't have enough generators for everybody. So this is a very big concern that we have. Let's just hope they can keep New Orleans dry, keep the water out of the city, because if it floods like Katrina, it's going to be a major disaster, and I'm still worried about that. Until the rain stops, we're not out of the woods yet over there. So that's going to wrap up this weather update. Take care, and thanks for watching.